Hello, my name is Duncan and welcome to Back Away from the Donkey and Bath Books. Today was just a day I wanted to make a video. Uh, Sorry that I need a bit of a shave and haircut and stuff, but you don't come here for my good looks, you go to Steve Donahue to look at handsome people, don't you? So, you just got me. So yeah, so I wasn't sure what to make a video about, but I wanted to make one. I've got 2 to 3 videos in the pipeline. I've got one that's recorded that I'm sorting out, one that I've got some stuff written down for, and I've got some stuff that I want to go on my blog in comparison with them, which is why they're taking me a little longer than I would like to. But I wanted to release another video because all this week I had my book trek one, and my book trek one turned not into a disaster but a nightmare to do. I recorded it, and I record all my videos on my iPhone, and for some weird reason my iPhone was convinced it recorded it at 186 frames per second. So what should have been less than about a 600 megabyte file, it thought was 4.5 gigabytes, and it was in slow motion. And I managed to do some really weird. In the end, I had to upload it. It wouldn't. I normally just stuff goes up to Google Photos now. I just pull it down and then I chuck it through my editing software because I don't do huge amounts of editing. But I had to put it up to. I've got a OneDrive account as well. Put it up to OneDrive, then put it onto a different computer because my Mac was doing weird things with it as well, and do some stuff on the laptop, and then put it onto a USB stick. Yeah, put it on my video that should have taken me half hour to sort out. Took me about 5 hours, but not that you really care about that. So yeah, so it's Father's Day here in the UK, and me and my father my father left us a few years ago. Yeah, he died 2 years ago, and we had a complicated relationship, but yeah, I still miss him. But to everybody out there, I hope you're having a good Father's Day. I might force my wife to watch Zardoz with me tonight, the John Borman film, because I don't care what anybody says. It is a beautiful weirdness mess of a film, but I love it. But yeah, Zardoz with Sean Connery and a Mankini. And in fact, I might even use that for my thumbnail for this. So yeah, this is going to be some weird rambling of a video, which I'm really not sure what it's about. So yeah, I put a book trek video out earlier on this week, and that was about the Discovery book Wonderlands, which I really enjoyed. So go and have a look at that if you're interested in book trek. I've not started another Star Trek one next. I had planned to start one from the original series, but I'm also tempted to do a reread for me, which is William Shatner's memoir of his time in Star Trek, which I bought when it was released in the mid-80s, early 90s, and I've not read it since. And it's sort of co-written, ghost-written by a guy called Chris Kresge. So I might read that, but I'm not sure. But at the moment, I've got a couple of books on the go as normal. But the one that I dipped into after Wonderlands was this James Blish, thinking of Star Trek. I picked this up locally a few years back, and it's this group of short stories, and I love the cover. And weirdly, in it, it's also got 4 or 5 short stories. There was an American release apparently that had more stories in it, weirdly, but this is got some weird drawings in it. It's a bit of a battered old thing, but this is Foursquare, which ended up part of New English Library, if you know your publishers, who actually did some really good releases of science fiction stuff. But there's 4 stories in it. I read 2 or 3. Let me have a quick look. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm partway through the 3rd one, which is more of a novella because of the length of it. The first one was Common Time. Second one was a work of art. Common Time was a story about traveling to Alpha Centauri and the vagaries of time, the theory of relativity, about time slowing up and going faster and speeding down, and the guy that's on the ship meeting an alien life form. It's quite a weird little story. I quite enjoyed it. The second story, which I've already forgotten his name because I have a terrible memory, a work of art I really liked, is a story about a man who's basically Richard Strauss, the composer, who's brought back. And actually, after reading the story, I did some research into Richard Strauss and discovered some stuff I really didn't know. And I need to find a good biography of the man. So if anybody's watching knows a good biography of Richard Strauss, please tell me, because after reading that story, I'm really intrigued by it. But yeah, it's about I think it was the 22nd or 23rd century, it doesn't matter which century it is, that somebody brings Richard Strauss's mind into another body to get him to compose. And I might actually do, and it's about, the whole story really is about what is art and what is art moving forward. So I might actually do a complete video just on that story. I haven't decided yet, but it was a really interesting story. I said there's a couple of other stories. It's not a bad little collection. Won't blow you away or anything, but it's a good little collection. I said I will finish that tonight, so there's only 2 stories. It's quite a short book. I said, weirdly, the US version, there's about 8 stories in it, whereas this one there's only 4. So, don't know what happened there. Somebody lost some stories when it crossed the Atlantic. The other thing I've had recently is I was out shopping, and I rarely buy new books. As people know, I very rarely buy new releases, especially science fiction stuff, because most of it is not very good as far as I'm concerned. But I'm not into like celebrity books and what have you. But I picked this up, and I don't know if anybody's read it, which is a novel by Tom Hanks. I've not put the protective cover on this yet, actually. And come on, everybody loves Tom Hanks. And it intrigued me. I love movies. I love films. Obviously. And it's Tom Hanks. And everybody loves Tom Hanks. It's got to be good, hasn't it? But hey, I brought it anyway. But as far as I can work out, it's about it's a story about somebody adapting a comic into a film. And in the book, they even have some drawings of comic panels. A couple of points. Tom Hanks might end up being a terrible writer, but it got me intrigued enough that I thought, I'm going to have to read this. So if anybody's read this, let me know. It could be leapfrogging when I'm going to read it now. I said I don't go for celebrity books. It's not really my thing, but it's Tom Hanks. So what could go wrong? So yeah, those are the 2 main things. I'm still preparing. I'm still planning to read Don Quixote for July. So if anybody wants to join me, it's going to be 100 pages a week. And that should take about 10 weeks, because I think it's about 1,000 pages. And I'm going to do a little report each week on it as I read it, because it's one of my white whales that I've been hanging around for ages. And I've accepted Michael Romeo's challenge, and I'm going to finish some of my white whales this year. So I'm going to do that one and probably the theory of everything. But Don Quixote starts the first week of July. I will be doing, said, 100 pages a week, and probably do a little report on each one for you if anybody's particularly interested. And that's about it. I've got also this week, I'm going to be doing another bit on some Return of the Jedi, their printed universe. I've got another one of those coming up, and that's about it, really. There's been some quite interesting videos. I noticed that Bookspin did a version of my tag that I did, my Return of the Jedi tag. So if you want to pop across and have a look at his tag, that'd be nice for him, because he's got a really good channel across there. And the wonderful Michael K. Vaughan, he's got a video out about his 500 book challenge, that he's up to book 50. It's going to take him a long time. And as I said to him, if he finishes reading 500 books without technically buying another book, he will have statues raised to him and ballads sung to him. Though he does seem to be finding a few exceptions. People giving him books, or books, free books and stuff like this. So it's not as if no books are coming into his household at all. The Stately Vaughan Manor is still getting books going in. So yeah, so on this beautiful weekend, I think that's about it. Is that all I wanted to say? Because I said I was struggling. I just really wanted to do a video, which is really, really strange. Wanted to sit here and talk into my camera. But yeah, I've got a few things coming out this week, and keep your eyes out for that. And I hope everybody else has a really good day. And I'm going to go off, and I'm going to prepare some food. And later on, I may force my wife to watch Stardust. And I will speak to you all very soon. Bye-bye.